Now that you have become familiar with the basic parts of your Singer sewing machine, you'll need some basic tools for successful sewing of any project. Be sure to use good quality scissors. This is important so that fabric is cut accurately. There are several types available, such as larger shears for cutting fabric, or smaller scissors for more detailed things such as trimming threads or clipping corners and curves. Use good quality pins for holding fabrics together when you sew, so you don't snag fabric or make holes in it. A fabric marking pen or chalk pencil is really helpful for things like marking buttonholes and pocket or applique placement. A rotary cutter, mat, and ruler are must-haves, especially for quilting. But these can also be used for things like cutting accurate bias strips for covered piping, used in some garments or home deck projects. You'll find a tape measure very handy for all kinds of projects, large or small. For fashion sewing, a dress form can be one of the most useful tools in your sewing room. Not only will it help you sew more accurately, but it will look great in your sewing space. Pressing is an essential part of sewing, so you will need an ironing board and steam iron. Get the best that your budget will allow. You might also consider a steam press, which is great not only for ironing larger surfaces quickly, but for fusing stabilizers and interfacing, setting creases, and much more. You'll do your best sewing when your sewing space is organized. Keeping your sewing tools organized and handy will make your sewing even more enjoyable. Now, just add fabric and thread and you're ready to go. When selecting fabric for a project, choose fabric that is suitable for the project. If you use a commercial pattern, there are fabric recommendations on the back of the pattern envelope to help guide you. Fabric has a right side and a wrong side. If it seems difficult to tell the difference between right and wrong on a fabric, usually you can just use the side you prefer. Fabric has a lengthwise grain, which runs parallel to the selvage edge, and a crosswise grain, which runs perpendicular to the selvage. Pay attention to grain line when sewing so that your finished project hangs or drapes correctly when constructed. Bias is any other angle across the fabric surface that is not lengthwise or crosswise grain. A 45-degree angle is referred to as true bias. Fabric strips cut on true bias are used to cover piping, finished curved edges, and make quilt bindings. There are lots of different types of threads available for different sewing applications. Some are suited for basic sewing, and some are more suited for decorative work. For regular sewing, you can use the same thread in the needle as you do in the bobbin. For some decorative applications, you can use a lighter weight thread in the bobbin and a heavier weight or decorative thread in the needle. A good basic thread for general sewing is a cotton-covered polyester thread, also called all-purpose thread. For quilting, a 100% cotton thread is usually the best choice. Decorative stitches take on a whole new look when you use rayon thread because it has a nice sheen. You can use all-purpose thread in the bobbin while decorative stitching. Polyester threads can be used for decorative stitching or for stretch fabrics. Top stitching thread is a heavier weight thread, often used for decorative embellishment. It can also be used for things like hemming jeans or for making buttonholes. Metallic threads provide a beautiful decorative embellishment. For best results, use a Singer Style 2000 universal needle. Although these are average size needles, the eye is larger to accommodate the metallic thread. This will help keep the thread from shredding while sewing.